Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Mike Koch of Witchcross to the program today. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well, Lance. Thanks for having me. And
We are here.
I just had my timer going on because I had this interview schedule, so I just my phone was just beeping there like mad. Yeah, doing really well. This is it's a great time for the band, to have a new album out, and we're really excited about it. And we're really pleased that there's a bit of interest from America.
Yeah, we're starved for it over here. So
Really, I mean,
not that there isn't great metal in America, but this is great traditional sounding metal.
The previous album was actually out on Hell's Headbangers, and we were desperate to get to America to play, but it became increasingly difficult to actually to get out of Europe, and more and more restrictions. I think we were offered to play at the Maryland Death Fest or whatever. And but that was on a tourist visa, and we just couldn't risk it, because a few of us, we also play in a more professional capacity.
Sure.
Which meant that we couldn't risk not having the proper visa, So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I hope things will change somehow, but it doesn't look like it at the moment, to be honest. But
yeah, the world is, it's opening up a little, which is encouraging, but it's still very strange out here, New album, of course, is called Angel of Death. It came out June 11th on High Roller Records. It follows up 2013's Axe to Grind. I read Angel of Death was like the first song for the album, and it turned out to be the title track as well. Is that correct?
No, I'm not saying you got your information wrong there, but no, to be fair, the first track that was written for the album was Phoenix Fire.
Okay.
Which we have actually played live for a number of years, probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And Angel of Death was a piece that the other guitar player Paul wrote. Okay. Specifically for this album. So when we write, it's a constant thing, when we write, we already written songs for the next album and so on and so on, but we don't know if they're going to end up on the next album, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But we sort of constantly look at what we have, and then we pick stuff, and then we try to put songs together that work really well. And Paul came up with this song, Angel of Death, and when he came up with the riff, and I wrote the lyrics, the chorus and stuff, and then we worked with that, me and Kev on the lyric side. So Kev is a singer,
right?
And yes, I mean that's how we approach things. We sort of try to make things fit together in the best possible way, and then. And I thought it was a fitting title. The previous album ended with a song called Beyond the Veil, which was actually a tribute primarily to rock stars that had died.
Okay.
Dio and people like that.
Yeah.
And has passed away, but also we had quite a few in our back sort of catalog, so to speak. The old producer and the old guitar player died. And so that was a tribute to them. So yeah, and so we the idea was to carry on from that. So where do you go from tribute to the death, Angel of Death? And so it was that was what it was. To be fair, most of the stuff we've written for the new album was a bit more traditional heavy metal, and I think we wanted to maybe move away a little bit from it to make it a bit darker, So, whether that's, I don't know if people think that this is darker or what, but that's what we wanted to do,
Yeah, I thought it was a great album.
Or the previous one.
No, this one, Angel of
Oh,
Death.
yeah, no, this one we're very pleased with it. And I think we were just worried that if we went too far with to be very experimental and so on, then we might
Yeah,
lose some people, in the process.
sure.
So yeah, but you want to write music that you grow up with, and for us, we grew up with a lot of different music, and then we just happened to sort of get involved in the whole new wave of British heavy metal, which we're not even part of because we are from Denmark, so we're not classed as that,
Right.
We're the Scandinavian version of new British heavy metal, whatever. So it was, and we did one album, so the whole we never got the chance to develop in that sense, so. So I think this album is a step in the direction we wanted to take the band, so.
Right. Really like the cover art for Angel of Death. Whose idea was that?
Well, I mean, we always, as a band, we always take great interest in all aspects of the whole album, whether it's who sort of release it, who's going to do the artwork. So this chap, we found him, and he was a lovely guy, and he's done some great work for other people. And we sort of started chatting, and he was, I can do the album, blah blah blah, cover, and so we just came up with the ideas, and we wanted the previous two albums had a couple of warriors on there, the whole Viking thing,
Right.
First album with the naked ladies, you can't do that anymore. I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah,
So,
it's a bummer.
And we have grown up a little bit, and we all have daughters or whatever, So we so we stepped away on the previous album. It was more like it was a link to the old days, to be honest, And this one we really wanted it to be slightly different.
Yeah. That's a great image.
Yeah, we changed the logo a little bit, to give it a bit different vibe as well, So
cool.
Yeah.
Let's dig into some of the tracks of Angel of Death. I've listened to it a couple of times. It's like I said, it's a great album. We'll start off with the title track, Angel of Death. To me, that had, to my ears, sort of like a great Priest Maiden hybrid sound to it. We talked about new wave of British heavy metal, and you don't get any more new wave of British heavy metal than those two bands there. I loved it. I thought it was a great track.
No, I think it was definitely had that Judas vibe, possibly more than the Maiden thing. But no, absolutely. I mean, I think on this album we haven't touched so much on the Saxon sort of side of things.
Yeah.
It's definitely more the Judas and the Iron Maiden sort of vibe, I should say. And I mean, when Paul wrote the song, he's the other guitar player, I really liked the guitar breakdown before the chorus. I think that's amazing, when the twin guitars before the chorus kicks in. I love that,
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. That's why it's the first track on the album,
Cool.
It sets the bar, this is where we are,
Right.
So yeah.
Evil Eye, I thought was just it's made my Halloween playlist. Just a sinister sounding song. And you talk about guitar, I love the lead over the riff on the opening. I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you very much. That's me playing that bit, and I sort of wanted to have a little bit of Ozzy in there, a little bit of it's just it gives you that sort of it's not really Schenker that bit, but it's got a little bit of a aggressive sort of lead guitar playing, without being over the top, or so we sort of on this album we actually try not to do too many long lead breaks, because I mean we are capable of playing the guitars, but we're not Steve Vai or and so there's no point in trying to be a flash guitar player if you're not really that amazing at it, you know. So we prefer to do sort of melodic parts and things that work well with the song, rather than just so it's not so much just showing off. It's but I mean, if it requires something that kicks in from the start, yeah, you put a bit of guitar in there, sure.
Right.
So that's nice. Yeah.
Definitely. The next track, The Chosen One, was, I'll tell you, it was hard to pick a favorite track on this album, but this I put as my favorite, was The Chosen One. Again, the riff, the solo, the lyric, the bass, and I love the intro and the outro on this song. I thought it was just a great track.
I mean, it's a bit of it's sort of an, I wouldn't say an epic track, but it's got that sort of thing to it, you know, with the different parts coming in.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite an old song, which me and Kev had worked on for a long time. And even there, something stupid like the little riff where it changes from the pre section to the actual main section, that was literally done the week before the mixing.
Wow.
We kept, oh no, it's not working. We changed it, and Paul said, "Can we do this?" And so, but it has been sitting in the background for a long time, and I really wanted it on this album because I think it had sort of some of the elements we really liked, you know.
Yeah.
It's almost like a ballad opening, isn't it? And then
yeah.
But it's not a ballad because it's still got the drums, so it's more, you know,
right, like
it's Metallica ballad or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
you know?
solid mid-tempo, you know,
something like that, you know. And but I think it works really well, you know. And the funny thing is, I really think the chorus is really good on that album, on that song, but it's not the main thing on that song, which is really weird, you know. But I think it worked well with the twin guitar coming in, or replying, answer to the lead vocal and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of epic songs, I will go to the longest track, clocking in at a little over 6 minutes. Siren Song. Get into a little Greek mythology here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I think that's for me. It's my favorite song, to be honest, on the album. I think Kev, the singer, who wrote the melody, I think he wrote most of the melody on this song himself, and it just went really well with the guitar parts and everything. And I think it's quite a personal song for him, you know, for various reasons. So obviously he wasn't seduced by Medusa or the Sirens, but you know, it was something, you know, along those lines, you know. You know, there's a bit of a symbolism in there, you know, and I think that's shown through on the song and his passion that he puts in this song, and it worked really well. And when we demoed the song, everybody in the band just said, "Yeah, that's great," you know.
Yeah, great tune. Last Rites. I'll tell you, when I listen to that opening riff, I don't know if you know this song or not. It's sort of
I know what you're gonna say.
Crazy Horses by the Osmonds.
Absolutely.
I'm like, holy Crazy Horses.
It is Crazy Horses, to be honest. I mean, it was so close to Crazy Horses, and I thought, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but I actually I toured with a 70s band as a professional musician, which was the Bay City Rollers, and we worked with the Osmonds on a number of occasions, and I have been on stage with the Osmonds playing Crazy Horses. Yeah.
Wow, what was that like?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the boys and their backing band, I'm still great friends with them. Yeah, I mean, I communicate with them nearly every day, you know. So,
wow.
so I'm quite close to them. They're great guys, actually. And
very,
yeah, great. I mean, Crazy Horses. Come on, I mean, that's an amazing track.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh,
You know.
so, but yeah, the vibe of the riff, yeah, it's definitely Crazy Horse. I mean, it wasn't set out to be, but it was
No,
just like, people say, "Oh no, that's Crazy Horse," but you're actually the first one to actually pick out that
really. That's
that
cool.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with that riff. You know, if you get one even close to that, you can't go wrong with it. You know,
I know. It's like,
so we get down to the final track, which was Warrior. I gave it my final track test to see if the band is working as hard on the final track as they did on the opening track. You guys passed with flying colors. This is a killer finale. I like any song, and it is sort of the same thing in Siren Song, where you have a timing change in the song. You know,
yeah,
a change in time, a change in tempo. Um, Love it. Love this track. This is probably my second favorite. Great tune.
I love the. It's quite. It's like proper metal track. It's
Yeah.
got it starts out with the guitar with a kick drum, and then it just sort of. But it's a simple track, but it just seems to flow really nicely. And then I always like to add those extra bits in the songs.
Yeah.
Some people say, "Why don't you just?" I mean, we could just have added a lead guitar break and go back into the chorus and then finish the song. But I like the whole thing that it actually is allowed to develop a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And for me that it worked really well, the middle section of the song. And then when it comes back in, it's just. Well, I mean, it's it's very individual, isn't it? It's what you grew up listening to.
Right.
And for me, it's the only track on the album that has a fading ending,
Mm-hmm.
and because it was going to be the last track, so that was the only song that had a fade ending on it.
Oh, cool.
So and there's a little hint of Schenker at the very end there. So
Yeah.
he's a great influence.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I love Michael Schenker. Big time help on the mixing and mastering on this album. We got Mike Exeter, had worked with Priest, Sabbath, Cradle of Filth. Then you got Jacob Hansen with did the mastering with Pretty Maze and Volbeat. Had you worked with them before? Did you know them?
No, I mean I think we've been quite lucky, and we always try to aim for the best, really. So on the previous album is Chris Tangeridis, and for the mixing, he's a lovely guy, but unfortunately he's dead now. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And then Fleming Rasmussen, sorry, not Fleming Hansen. Fleming Rasmussen doing the mastering. I know Fleming from before, obviously working with him in Denmark.
Yeah.
With his work with Rainbow and Metallica and stuff. And for this album, we sort of hooked up with Mike, and he's an amazing engineer. I mean, amazing, to be honest. How he made the stuff sound is truly amazing.
Yeah.
And then for the mastering, we thought we sort of have a bit of a connection with the Danes, We want to have them in there, for something, and it was so it was great going to Denmark for the mastering as well. I don't know. I mean, we sort of we just want to sort of keep developing, and we might work with. I think we might work with Mike again on the next album. So
cool.
It worked really well, for us.
Did a little bit of research into your past. Before you were Witch Cross, you were in Blood Eagle, who had a song called Witch Cross. Is that obviously where you got the name for Witch Cross?
No, I think I sort of have said that before in other interviews, that there was tracks released that claimed it was done by Blood Eagle, but Blood Eagle was actually a different band than.
Okay.
So anything that sort of came out as Blood Eagles was probably early Witch Cross demos.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. And Witch Cross was a Witch Cross track. It was one of our first tracks we ever wrote, along with Satan's Child. And sort of when we started out, it was quite dark. It was quite sort of in the same sort of vein as Merciful Fate and bands like that. Very inspired by Angel Witch and those more satanic Witchfinder Generals and bands like that, which I was really into. And it's right, we had a band called Blood Eagle prior to being in Witchcross, but that was more like it was actually more like a Deep Purple band.
Okay. Wow.
So stuff had any Blood Eagle stuff would have Hammond on it and
okay.
And stuff. So when we started doing the demos, we were officially a Witchcross, either as a 4-piece or a 5-piece, and then we sort of developed with the Cole Hamilton on the guitar in about 82, 83, and then I think most of the recordings you can find anywhere is Witchcross.
Okay. Early 80s, you shared rehearsal space with Merciful Fate, is that?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Wow, that must have been amazing, you know?
Yeah, but we didn't think of it like that, because we were all starting out.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they were just starting as well, and Cole, the guitar player, knew them really well. He actually had done the artwork for their first EP, so he said, "Oh, we can rehearse here for a bit, and until we got our own space." So we rehearsed that, and it was the same place as Evil, another Danish band, rehearsed there, and so the scene in Denmark was so small. We never actually played with Merciful Fate, but we played with Pretty Mates, we played with Evil, we played with Artillery, and Mortis Factor. So everybody sort of, we were all just trying to make it work, but the scene in Denmark was terrible at that time, to be honest. It was very hard to get any gigs going. So
Another project that you were involved in that I checked out that I found amazing was a band called Harlot.
Yeah.
With Alex Savage.
Yeah. When we left the band, we sort of we wanted to do something different because the band basically fell apart for various reasons.
Yeah.
One of the guitar player left, we got a replacement, and then we couldn't get a record deal with Witchcross that the management liked, and so me and Alex sort of set out to do something else, and we actually ended up playing with the drummer from Merciful Fate and the guitar one of the guitar players, several guitar players, Benny. And that became quite sort of dark and not quite what we sort of set out to do. And then we sort of managed to get a deal with it, and put a fairly good album together, which was actually recorded by Flemming Rasmussen at Sweet Silence Studios. So it was,
Room with a View was the name of the album. Fantastic melodic rock. I mean, Bring Home Your Love is the best song Foreigner never did.
Yeah, no, it is like I'm really pleased with that song. It's like, it's the only song on the album where I wrote the lyrics, not the music.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But as far as Witchcross, it was the Keep It True festival back in 2012 that sort of relaunched.
Yeah,
Witchcross.
I think what happened was that we did an interview, as like a huge interview for a French magazine called Snake Pit, and he interviewed all the members of the band and previous members, existing members, and blah blah blah, so on. So he had a huge sort of it was a huge feature on the band, and then for some reason he had directly asked me if we wanted to be interested in playing in front of, I think he said 2,000 people, and I just said yes without asking the other boys, and because I thought it was a case of being a year and a half down the line anyway. So I said to the boys, yeah, I said yes to this. Are you up for this? And we try to make it work with the original members and so on and so forth. And for various reasons, it didn't work. So we were 3 original members and then basically 2 new members.
Yeah.
At that festival, and one was Kev Moore, the singer,
Right.
who's a very good friend of mine. Alex Savage, it was with his blessing, you know. I mean, he was there at the last rehearsal we did, you know.
Right.
So I'm very close still with Alex, you
That's
know.
cool.
So he said to me, you know, I'm happy for you to do this, but you know, it's not for me. I mean,
Yeah.
Alex is he's quite a celebrity in Denmark, and he's got his own radio show on national radio, and it didn't sort of fit in with his profile, so to speak. I think he would have loved to have done it. He has been on stage with us since, you know, to do guest appearances, and he's done he did promo shots for the previous albums and stuff. So he's very much involved in the whole thing, you know. And as you probably are aware that there's still a lot of interest in the 84 album, Fit for Fine. So we still have to sort of not get along, but we're still connected, all the original members, you know, due to the fact that we get royalty and we get re-releases and stuff like that. And then we were featured on a Netflix thing called Disjointed.
Oh, nice.
Kathy Bates has.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did a great little some cartoon thing for Face of a Clown, which is great. I think I can't remember the episode, but it's right in the beginning, so you don't even have to watch the whole thing. I think it's series 2, episode 7 or something like that. But
nice.
Yeah, anyway.
I have to check that out.
But it's really funny because it's just a cartoon. I was worried that it was just going to be, you know, when sometimes when they use music that you've written, you know, in things like this, it's just gonna look stupid. But it worked really well, to be honest, you know, which is great actually.
Cool. You released a video for Phoenix Fire. Do you have any others planned for any of the other tracks on the album?
Well, we certainly want to do something, but it worked really well with the Phoenix Fire. But I don't think we do the same again. So that was basically it. Each member had to film themselves.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so it was quite funny, you know. And there was a lot of debate going on about, you know, frame rates and all that shit, you know, all technical stuff going on.
Yeah.
And but I think it worked really well, you know, and we found actually a girl in LA who does all that fire thing, and so we could use some of her video for the you know, her clips in the video, because it looked really well. It really worked really well with the stuff. So we'd love to do a sort of full band thing, but we haven't sort of set out what we're going to do with the next stuff. We will do a video for one other track, but we haven't decided yet. So, but yeah, there will be something happening.
Future plans now for Witchcross. Albums out. You know, hopefully you get to play some gigs somewhere, you know, soon. Anything else in the works for the band?
Yeah, I think. I mean, this album took a long time to put together. And not for any other reason that it was just it sort of it wasn't our main priority, because we were still doing gigs, and we didn't do a lot of gigs. So we sort of as we expanded our sort of territory, we sort of went out, did maybe 10, 12 shows a year. Which is not a lot, but so we didn't really tour an album, you know. We didn't go out and do a whole tour. and it doesn't look like this album would have the chance to do that due to the pandemic.
Right.
So I think our aim is actually to obviously do some gigs on the back of this album, but next year, and then hopefully have an album ready by the end of next year.
It was well worth the wait. I would put it up against Chinese Democracy anytime.
Really?
Yeah.
That was quite a good album, actually. He got a lot of stick, but it was a good album, actually.
It was, but I like this one better. You know.
Oh, really? Yes, I do as well, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's excellent. We're talking with Mike Koch here of Witchcross for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. New album, Angel of Death, out now on High Roller Records. Mike, I always like to end with just some fun, silly questions. Hopefully these are questions you've never been asked. Sound good?
Well, you give it a try. I've probably been asked them before, but yeah.
When going out on tour, what is one basic item you always bring with you?
My guitar.
Your guitar? All right.
Are you probably looking for something stupid? But I don't normally bring anything weird with me. Obviously I bring my I have to bring my guitar. So, but I don't have any quirky stuff I bring.
Last music other than your own you listen to? What's the last group or track that you played other than your own that you listened to?
I actually just been playing the Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight. I like the attitude of the Foo Fighters. I mean, I would like to say Ghost, but they haven't had a new album out for a long time. So,
Yeah.
Which is probably my favorite band anyway.
It's getting late over where you are in your part of the world. You get hungry. What do you choose for a late night snack?
I like my rye bread being Danish, so I sort of tend to have a little bit of a cheese on rye bread, maybe, or yeah, that'll be it. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Is there something outside of music you're good at? Like, are you a good woodcrafter or a good auto mechanic or anything outside of music you consider yourself good at?
Well, outside of music, I actually work as a handyman, so I'm quite good with plumbing and actually woodcraft as well. So other than that, I like playing chess and reading books. So, yeah, that's my main other.
Title of the last book you read, then we'll go to that.
Well, the last one is actually it's about screenplaying, so Save the Cat. So that's the last one I read. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. It will be my Batmobile, I think.
Okay. Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do dishes or laundry?
Ooh, I have a dishwasher, so I pick the dishes. No, to be fair, I do the majority of the cooking in this house anyway. I love cooking.
Oh, cool. What's your favorite dish to prepare?
Well, the kids love my lasagna, so that's probably, and it's also one of the favorite dishes I have. When I go to any Italian restaurant, if I haven't been there before, I try the lasagna.
Cool. Last one. This is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have pick you in the to play you in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. He's probably the number one answer for most musicians.
I know. I thought that was a bit cheesy. I was gonna go for Brad Pitt, but I mean, he's blonde. I used to be blonde, but I don't know what I am anymore. Yeah. But no, I couldn't come up with something clever on that. Sorry for that.
Yeah, that's good. It's a great answer. Mike, is there anything that I haven't asked you about? Is there something you wanted to talk about that I missed? Anything you want to add to this? The floor is yours.
No, I just I think it's great what you guys do. You sort of you shine a light on metal music, which is good. I would say I would say to people, stop doing so much streaming and do more buying of actual physical albums and CDs. Maybe at the push digital downloads. We're not great friends with Spotify and Amazon Music and Apple Music and so on.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's just a personal preference. You know, people can do what they want, but I think if you want to keep music alive, you got to sort of take an interest in it, and I think that's very important. And also go and see some bands that are big bands, and yeah, I think it's very important. There's a lot of young bands out there that really deserve a break. We're a couple of dinosaurs, you know, playing music, and we're just happy to have the chance to go and play for people, and yeah, we just love it, you know.
Are you selling Angel of Death through a website that people could go to themselves to and buy it? You know?
Yeah, I would say go to High Rollers, or I think actually Hell's Headbangers have it in America, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and or just just ask your local record store, because they probably need it more than anybody else. You know?
The band is Witchcross. The album is Angel of Death. It's out now on High Roller Records, and it is excellent. Mike, thank you very much for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot, Lance. Thanks for having me, and keep up with the great work you're doing.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye, mate.
Bye-bye.